Hi everyone, welcome back to Gillian at Mystic Healing Therapies on this cold winter's day in England. Alright, so what I'm going to talk to you about today is crystals. So I've got a selection of beautiful crystals here, which I'm sure many of you have as well. What I'm going to talk about is how we can take care of them, honour them, look after them really, and honour them for the sacred beings that I believe they are. So I'm sure many of you have got a pile of crystals, and it came to my attention this week that perhaps we aren't using them to the best of their intentions of what they are here for to help us. So I thought I'd do a video just to give you my take on it. So I believe that crystals were purposely formed millions of years ago when the earth was in its infancy. I believe that they were made by creators, mineral masters, and there was kind of like an experiment to imbue certain qualities and certain intentions behind each of these different mineral compositions. So it's not just that they are minerals, excuse me, so to speak, but they all have inherent qualities that have been set with a specific intention. So I think that the mineral masters gifted these, and over eons and eons of time we have used these to the benefit of mankind and womankind. And I think since the demise of Atlantis, we've kind of lost some of that sacred knowledge. So my intention is to just share my thoughts to help bring some of that back into the psyche really of the population. So if we just take a basic crystal then, quartz crystal, I'm sure many of you that grew up in the 70s and 80s will be, if you cast your mind back, can you remember when watches were all the thing? You know, we didn't have mobile phones back then, so it was, a watch took a very big focus in your life. Can you remember that in those watches, many of them even on the screen used to say quartz? Because quartz crystal is used as an energy transmitter. So a simple piece of quartz like this, they use it in lots of technology, you know, like the silicon chip, for example, because this will hold a program. So what a lot of people don't realise is that these are like a USB stick, or to use a very old-fashioned term, a floppy disk. They can hold loads of information. They are the living computers. And back in Atlantis times, these were used a lot, but unfortunately they were programmed for the dark reasons by, you know, the people that we're fighting now. And that was what contributed to the demise of Atlantis. So let's have a look how we can love and care for our crystals then. So a few things to do. If you get a crystal from a crystal shop, perhaps it could be, you know, it's probably been mixed up with loads of different crystals and might have quite a lot of stagnant energy. So when you get your crystal home, there's a couple of things you can do. If you happen to live near a spring where you can get natural spring water, wash the crystals with the spring water. If you don't, then if you've got a sage stick or even incense, if you don't have sage, just waft the incense, the smoke round the crystal, and ask it to clean all its energy, so that you're kind of making it neutral and you're making it sort of remove any other energies that don't serve the crystal, and you ask for the smoke or the spring water to sort of cleanse it so that it starts to be neutral. Once you've got it to a neutral state, you can then set your intention for it. So you can set one of the things I do is set the intention so that the crystal is at 5D or higher. So I'm setting the vibrational intention of the crystal, and all of my crystals I set for them to be at 5D or higher. So I'm setting the lowest frequency that I want this crystal to be as 5D. I want it to be 5D or higher at all times. So then I've set the intention, and these you can program them. This is where we've lost our magic, and this is where we can reclaim it back. You can claim all of your crystals to be operating at 5D or higher at all times. So that's what you can do. And then use your crystals, set them around the house. You know, this space we're in here, I've set my garden and my house, I've gridded it with crystals. So get a little one, even if it's just tiny like this. It doesn't have to be anything special. And I've put one of those in that field there, and I've set like a square of, and gridded it, a crystal grid. And in each one of these, for example, firstly, I've asked Archangel Michael to come in on the north. And then I've got another crystal to the south of my garden, or place around my home, and I've asked for Archangel Gabriel to come in at the south. I've asked for Archangel Raphael at the east, and then Archangel Zadkiel at the west. Sorry, I've got those two muddled up. I've got Archangel Raphael at the west and Archangel Zadkiel. Oh, I'm getting all muddled. I'm dyslexic, by the way, so I get muddled up on things like this. Yeah, so in the west I've got Raphael, and in the east I've got Zadkiel, and then in the middle, so each time I add this, I've got Metatron, and I ask them to keep this frequency, this whole grid of energy at a frequency. Now the 5D or higher, then I add the Christ light in, so that I've kept my home and my garden and my surrounding areas at a 5D or higher level. Now the part these crystals play is they help to enhance and magnify and anchor in the energy. So even though this just looks like a tiny little bit of stone in the field, it's actually holding, I've set the intention for it to hold that grid. And an interesting thing about this field, because I sit here and do quite a lot of energy work, I bring in lots of light down through the planet while I'm sat in this garden, and you can see we've got fields round us. This field round us, it always produces a better crop than those, even just up the road. So geology wise, it's the same kind of geology in the landscape, but this field always does better, and I'm absolutely convinced it's because of the energy work that I do, and because I've gridded part of the field. So we're going to be learning or reconnecting with all this. You know, the Native Americans used to use the land, you honour the land, and then the land would honour it. So, you know, that's definitely what's been happening here in terms of the energy frequency. While I'm on to the fact of programming crystals, you can program water as well. I know I've mentioned this in another video before, but you know, I said if you don't live near a natural spring, obviously natural spring water's better, but we can't all live near a spring. So even if you're using tap water, let's say you've not got any incense or you've not got any sage, what you can do is get the tap water, send it loving blessings, and ask to keep that tap water, make it to its original intention, because all water was originally set at a high frequency, but it's been hijacked, like simply everything else, literally everything else has been hijacked by the dark forces and set at a lower frequency. So you can set your frequency, even of your tap water, to 5D before you pour it on this. And just as a matter of course, I set my tap water, I've got a water filter because I don't like to drink fluoride on every day and all the heavy metals they put in the water. So I put mine in the water filter, and as I'm pouring it in the water filter, I send love and blessings and ask it to be at its intended frequency, or 5D or higher. So I bless the water, so all the drinking water that we have is at 5D frequency. We've lost these powers, folks. They've taken it away from us, but you know, it's time to get it back. We're all really powerful, and we all creators, and we can all do these things like set the crystals, set your water, and you know, use it for your own ends. Yeah, I've just looked, this is 9 minutes long, so I'll probably draw it to conclusion. Another thing I did as well, you know, think about it, there's all these crystals embedded in the planet, you know, in the original residing places in the rock formations of the planet. Another thing I do sometimes, I send out loving intentions to set out all those embedded crystals and jewels throughout the earth. I set those to 5D frequency or higher. So just think about it. There's all those embedded crystals all over the world. I've set my intention for them to be vibrating at a 5D frequency or higher. So if I do that, I know that that will make a difference. But imagine if all you chaps joined in and we all intended that all the crystals were 5D or higher. We would then be giving service to the planet, because we would be setting a 5D grid work for the entire planet. If this field produces better because I do it here, imagine if we all set our intentions for the world. Imagine what the world would be like then. This is how you can assist with the ascension process. You know, this is how we can all help. We can all take responsibility. You don't have to leave it to people like me that sit on YouTube and talk about it. You can do it yourself. It's about us all stepping into our personal responsibility and all adding to the collective of the energy and the rising consciousness. All right, I'll leave you with that. Have a lovely day, everybody, and I'll speak to you soon. Lots of love. Bye. Oh, sorry, one more thing. Just when it's full moon, put your crystals out. They love it. They love the full moon energy. So I'm on a WhatsApp group message of some friends that we do meditation with, and we'll send little messages. Oh, have you got your crystals out? And things like that. And that's a beautiful thing. So lots of love and blessings. Bye for now.